Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Universal Laws with Kristy Sturdivant. I am here today with Candace Bethel, frequency medicine extraordinaire, and we are going to be diving into the concept of fear and how it shows up in the masculine versus the feminine. And we're also going to be adding in some human design elements to this as well, thanks to Candace. And so, yeah, let's just dive right on in because I don't know about you, Candace, but I have been having a lot of collective fear showing up in my world lately. It's been very icky and sticky and less than pleasant, causing me a lot of tears, which is fine. I'm okay with the tears, I guess. But I would like to know if you have seen this in your world as well.
Yes. Hi, Christy. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me again. And I've been seeing this a lot. We are in eclipse season. For those of you that don't know, it started on the 17th. I don't remember exactly when it ends, but it's not over yet. We're kind of in the middle of it. And there will be a new eclipse. I believe the next eclipse is next Tuesday, but don't quote me on that because it's not the exact things that I follow. Uh, but the besides the eclipse season, this year is also opening all of that up as well. And we kind of touched on that in a previous podcast about how we hold space. Um, and that's kind of what we're feeling right now is what the collective fear space is holding, and the masculine and the feminine, right? The masculine is on its way out. This toxic masculine is on its way out, and it's being forced to behave in a different way and look at itself in a different way so that it can be this divine masculine that it's always meant to be. And this divine feminine that's coming in, washing out the toxic feminine as well, is also making the feminine look at itself in a different way, making it stand up and making it hold space for itself. And it's very scary. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. And it we're not used to it. So it's coming in these pressure valve ways. Um, that are making us cry. There's like this hard no, no longer am I accepting what's happening. No longer am I gonna suffer. No longer am I gonna put like others before me. And we're really not used to that. Like we've been taught somewhere in childhood, and moving forward, that that's really not a safe place to be. Is standing up for our individual, standing up for ourselves, saying, hey, what about me? Like most of the time it's been like, no, you don't get to take up space. And this world is asking us to like take up space right now and just stand in it, hold it strong, and be like, no, get out of my bubble. This is mine, my space. So that's what's coming in.
It's not easy. It feels very, very uncomfortable. And it, well, it's obviously highlighted right now during the eclipse season, right? It's why it's coming up because that's what eclipse season does. And it also feels a little bit heavier because of this. And so let's talk about fear in relation to human design because this is as someone who works with frequency medicine and you work a lot with human design. I'm guessing you have specific points in the chart where you're like, "Oh yeah, this is like probably a trigger for you. This is where you might be finding some of this fear." Can you talk about where that is located? And then we can get into like maybe some ways to move it through our system in a
Yeah,
productive
yeah,
way.
absolutely. So the fear is located in our spleen. And whether you have defined fear or you have an open fear, you are going to have fear moving through. It's either going to be your fear or it's going to be collective fear. Either way, you're going to feel both. So the defined fear is um, is when you have a defined spleen. And that is you're more afraid of yourself. You're afraid of doing things that are going to make you like happier and better. And every time the universe gives you an opportunity to level up in your world, whatever gates you have in the spleen, be it defined or undefined, those show up. So, Kristy, you have a defined spleen,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
so you have, let me see, looking at your chart.
I'm going to put this right up here on the screen so everyone can see what Candace is
Sorry.
referring to.
Hold on just a second. So you have gates 48 and 57 defined in your chart.
Mhm.
And gate 48 is the fear of inadequacy, and the gate 57 is the fear of tomorrow. Um, and gate 57 is also one of the most psychic and intuitive gates, and the spleen is also very intuitive. So it's not just this like fear that everybody else has. It's a very intuitive thing that we feel and it hits us and we're just like and it will make you cry. It's not even it's not emotional. It is pure fear.
Mm, that's less pleasant to hear, for sure.
Right. It is less pleasant to hear. And your fear, you do have a lot of collective, right? So,
Mhm.
because your root pressure is all open, so you are going to get the collective fear to go into your defined spleen, and then you're going to intuitively get these hits in your fear of the gate 48 and the gate 57, which is the fear of inadequacy and the fear of tomorrow. And those are the keys to help you grow and lead the collective out of fear. And your gate 57 goes to the gate 20, which is the most in like psychic gate in the channel. So it goes right out your throat. So it you can just speak it out your mouth.
That is where all of my verbal diarrhea comes from. I'm sure of it, which is
Yeah.
not pleasant to hear either, but it's true. I do feel much better when I speak it out loud. It feels like it transmutes it for me. I can hold it all in and feel really, really terrible. And then once I verbalize it to, myself or my husband or someone else or my dog, she listens to me a lot. I do feel a lot better. It is my one of my ways of transmuting that fear.
So, I think one of the reasons you like doing the podcasts too is because you have so many of those open gates at the bottom there from the root to
Mhm.
the spleen. Like you are meant to get all those imprints, learn from the fear of the collective so that you can speak it out loud. They're meant to hear from what you are intuitively feeling.
Oh,
Uh,
thanks for that.
So, yeah, but so are you feeling that? Have you been feeling specifically those in the last like couple weeks or
I have been
last
feeling a
couple
lot of
weeks?
fear in the last couple weeks. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. And it's the fear of the future, right? It's the fear of tomorrow. It does feel very uncertain and it feels very um like it's surrounding me. And it does feel like this pressure that it's that masculine energy of like, well, we have to do something. We have to do something. We have to take some kind of action, even though it is very unclear what that action may be.
So that have to
Yes.
is actually an energy of inadequacy because if we didn't have like
Mm.
if we had what we need to have, there would no that like feeling of like we need something wouldn't be there. So for me, that's why we do this frequency work because the more we come back to ourselves, the more we realize that all of those are just pressure points and they're
Mm.
not here for us to sit in. They're here for us to look at and go ahead and cry. Like we're made up of mostly water. We are supposed to clear. Like we're not supposed to hold that shit in clear it. Um, so I have almost all of those gates defined. And I
Oh,
also am fully, and I'm also a defined spleen. The only one I don't have is the gate 18, which is the fear of authority. Um, which makes sense. When the fear of authority is like also like the fear of systems, like looking at the systems and how they're doing it wrong. And that's my pressure from the collective. And I really see that strongly because I can just see all of it, how it hasn't worked for mostly anybody. Like a lot of people that want to, like, I wish things would just go back to how it used to be. It wasn't working back then either. You were just way more comfortable than you are now. Now you're either uncomfortable or living a little bit comfortably uncomfortable. Nobody's just happy anymore, except maybe a few people. But most people are concerned about what's happening because they can feel a shift. And most people don't understand what that shift is. And this masculine feminine that we keep talking about, this is the shift that's happening, and it's creating a lot of fear. And it's also like, at least right now, still in the human design world, we are globally defined emotionally. So many people are having like these emotional waves that they've never had before. And the emotional wave people are just like, whatever, like I'm always like this is nothing new to me. But people that are typically open emotional are just like feeling everything way more. Normally things that they would just kind of blow off because they can handle it. That defined emotional that's coming in as well is like it's almost competing with that spleen, being like, what are you afraid of and what are you not willing to like take any longer.
and that's quite the push and pull that we're all feeling right now. That
Yeah.
I feel like when we have that collective push and pull, it's really easy for energy to get like clogged up in our bodies and in our systems. So when we are talking about the spleen and the fears and everything, as a frequency healer, where do you see maybe most common places in your body where you're going to be feeling this fear?
So you will feel it from the belly button down. Most
Oh.
people are going to start feeling it in the right side of their hips because
Mm.
the spleen is on the right side of the body. So I'm not saying you won't feel it on the left side. It really depends on how your emotions are feeding into your fear and how much your body is working against each other. But it will start with like a tighter spot on the right side of your hip. And maybe you felt right side hip pain your entire life, and everybody's like, no, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. You're probably a defined spleen. Um, and if you are like, that's one of the things that I do. I read these charts like medically intuitively. I can read your energy and your body, where your pain points are, and like how they show up with illness and disease from childhood up until now. There's a lot of ways of looking at that. Um, but it's going to be something that comes in and it just sits there with you consistently and you don't really know
Mm.
why.
Oh, yes, that makes a lot of sense because for the past week, I have been having some tightness and pain in my right hip flexor on the front side, which is typically fear of the future, right? And so it is very
Uh,
collective based, but I didn't even make that connection until you said that.
So it's also our front side of our body is also a feminine line and the back side is masculine. So
Mm.
yeah, it is coming in like that pressure, that fear of the future for the female, because right now, like that wounded masculine looks really scary. It looks scary in the female energy and it looks scary in the male energy. And we've seen this before. like many of us have seen it before and it's played out in our lives and it didn't go well. We may have been able to look like I can see in my life when this happened, how it's happened, and that like it was for the good, but it didn't mean that there wasn't a lot of destruction and a lot of trauma that didn't happen that to get through it. So that's kind of what I see happening right now. Like there's going to be damage, there's going to be destruction, there's going to be trauma that people have to work through, but we will get over it and it will be for the higher good.
Yes, I agree. I think that it's really easy when we are sitting in this like energetic mess to kind of go inward and, shut down a little bit, which is just going to kind of keep that energy stuck. I feel like when we are talking about these like really big energies, it feels almost like especially when we're talking about the future, it's scary because there's not much that we can like actually do and take action to fix or make something that is systemic better. And so I really feel like the best thing that we can do is focus on our own energy and our own vibration and try to move these energies through us so that it can project outwards. What are some ways that you suggest to your clients on how to do this so that they don't, create some kind of disease or, major trauma in their own bodies?
Yeah. So we do have to move the energy. And like a lot of what I do is like breath and sound. But when the energy becomes this thick and this heavy and this like scary, uh, we have to just start like with slight movements in our body. So what I actually have people do is is sit down, like knees kind of spread open, so they're bigger than your hips, and you don't, doesn't matter which way you start. I like to start with the left just because that's like a feminine flow for me. Um, and I just start with big heart circles. So you move your heart forward and then come back. And I do this with my eyes closed, but right now you don't have to. You can try this later. And then you just keep moving as slow as possible. And I'll do like 10 rounds. And the breath would be on the inhale, you come forward. So inhale, heart forward, and exhale, heart backwards. And you want to make sure you're kind of doing a circle, and it can be an exaggerated circle. And then just switch to the other. After you've done about 10 of these, switch to the other side. And if you want to like add on the exhale, you can do open mouth and sigh like you are like steaming up a mirror. So it's like,
Ooh, that's nice.
yeah. So it's, we have to get our body to feel safe before it's ready to do anything else. Like one of the biggest things that I teach is that you only go as fast as the slowest part of you feels safe to go. And
Mm.
then from those, then I come to center and we do forward and back with the same inhale. But on the exhale, I do like a little sigh, like, so this is something you want to do for at least 10 minutes. You can time yourself like 3 to 4 minutes, forward, 3 to 4 minutes, other side, and then 3 to 4 minutes back and forth. Again, it takes about 10 minutes for your nervous system to start calming down. And then once you are finished, you just take a deep breath in, keeping your eyes closed, and just sit and feel your vibration. Sit and feel your frequency. Try to stay in that frequency for as long as you can. And then just let it go. and notice how much calmer your body feels. We we are not trying to force anything. We are trying to like let our nervous system like come back. We're coming back to self, coming back to self, coming back to self, so that we actually know what self feels like instead of just going out with all these other energies coming at us and holding on to that. We're not meant to feel bad. We're not meant to hold on to others' energies. Like the negative energies, the negative feelings that come in are all lessons for us to learn from. They're happening for us, they're not happening to us. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner we can start fixing it. Because if they're happening for us, then why? Why are they happening for us? And we can start asking why they're happening for us. And then we can start intentionally planning our days out and manifesting our life because we already planned today out. Somewhere in the past we planned this day out. We don't consciously know it, but we energetically planned it out. So if you want your future to be better, your frequency has to be better, or it's just going to stay on the same path because we're every day we're planning our future from the frequency that we're holding that specific day.
Mm,
That makes
I like
sense.
that. Yes, I like that a lot. That feels a lot more empowering. I mean, and it feels, even though it's very heavy right now and it's very difficult to kind of feel this collective energy and everything, having these small exercises and ways to get back into your energy and move your energy, it's very empowering because the more energy that you can move through you is the more energy that you can project out into your field and make a bigger impact on everything. So it's
Correct.
it's a good way to reframe all of this grossness because our bodies are meant to take things in, transmute it, and send it back out. But so many people like are starting to disassociate with their bodies. They are
Mhm.
like shutting down, distracting themselves and everything. So things are just getting really stuck in there and it's disgusting and it clogs up your frequency. So you
It
can't pull in the
does.
life that you want. So this is a really easy, nice way, thank you, to move your body and move your energy.
Yeah. You you said clogged is like one of the best words that you can use because it so if you think think of water, most of us can like conceptualize or understand or at least know that we've been told we're mostly water. So if you think of like a pond or a lake that doesn't ever move, it creates like, like seaweed and it becomes a swamp if you don't move it. So you don't want to be in your own swamp water. You want to have clear water. And if you're not doing frequency work, I don't mean exercise, I literally mean frequency work. If you're not doing frequency work, you are in some way sitting in your own swamp water.
That is the best analogy I think I've ever heard because it makes me want to do even more frequency work than I'm doing because I don't want to be sitting in any swamp water. I don't need alligators coming at me. So, frequency
Yeah.
frequency work doesn't have to be like some big like sit and meditate for an hour type thing. I
No.
mean, that's great if you do that. And I think that should be the goal for everyone. But just doing these little things, you're always moving energy, right?
Right. Yeah, you only really like if you can just do it a couple times a day, like try to be aware of how you feel. How do I feel? If you're not feeling good, do some frequency work. And if you are like still like, well, I don't understand what you're talking about. I do have a 6-month program that is starting today. People are still welcome to join. If you need a chat or if you would like to just join into one class for free, please message me. The information will be in the notes,
Mhm.
correct? Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, and if you can't find it, then you can contact me on my website and I'll send it to Candace too, because it's more important now than ever. And that sounds very dire, but it's true, right? Like I think we're feeling a lot of it come into our auras and we don't want to hold on to it. We want to move it out
Yeah.
and transmute it.
Yeah, people really want to. I do feel like people are starting to really want to understand what they're noticing and what they're feeling because the outside world is getting really confusing. And if you don't know your own energy, you don't know your like how you feel, you don't know what's out here and what's in here. Like you have zero discernment of what's correct for you. But if you know your own energy, your body will literally tell you what's right or wrong for you. Yes or no. Like, period. It does. We just haven't been taught how to listen to it.
No, and as someone who has really spent a lot of years not being in tune with my body, it's kind of amazing how quickly you can get in tune with your body when you
Mhm.
just do just 1 minute of breath work a day. Because I did it for like every day for a couple of weeks straight, and then I missed a couple of days, and I really felt it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to start doing that again. Like my dogs didn't want to come around me. They love being around me now that I've been doing all this breath work, but you can really start to feel it in your energy, in your aura, if you are not sitting in your own vibe.
Yeah, you can. And that is really important. We have to do it like I do it every day. And there are days that I miss and I do notice it. Like I've been traveling and I had to miss some days. And actually a really funny thing happened to me. We were at my brother-in-law's house and they have a bunch of animals. And nobody was home when I started doing the meditation. But when like people started coming in, I'm like, I'm not finished. I'm still just gonna sit here and do this. And that's not something that they do in their house. But they don't care that I do it. But their dog has never seen anybody do that. And my partner had to keep the dog like away from me because the dog was barking at me and like did not know what was happening. And it's never seen somebody's energy in meditation. My animals sit around me and so they're like really used to it. But even when I came out of it and I started talking to him, he was like, "What are you doing?" I've never experienced that because I haven't done it around somebody else's animals, but they really, really feel it. It is fascinating.
Yes, animals are such good reflectors of what's going on in their environment around us. So, fascinating thing as well. I'm actually getting ready to interview someone who is an animal communicator in the next couple of weeks. So, lots of information that we can get from animals on frequency too. So, also a really good way. Have you ever used any animals in your practice, like to help your clients or had them use their animal companions in any way?
I haven't yet, but I have planned on using a bunny for that, and I do have a plan on using a bunny still for that. And I also have been trying to manifest somebody with horses. I was raised around horses my entire life. I do Reiki and Supreme Bright Light, and I would love to do horse Reiki and healing because that's something that has been calling to me. So I do know that the horses will show up this year because it's the year
It's
of
the
the horse.
year. It's gonna
So
happen.
I know that that's happening. So maybe that person's on your watching your podcast, or maybe they're just still in my aura. But I know that though that's showing up for me this year because it's been coming in a radar for the last year.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear when that comes in. I love hearing
Right.
about people's manifestations. I think it's so fascinating since we are all bringing in at different paces. Very cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is fascinating watching other people's manifestations.
All right. Well, thank you so much today for coming on, Candace, and talking to us about the human design aspect of fear. I think it's a very useful thing to know in your human design chart. I think it's probably definitely up there next to your strategy and profile. I think knowing like where you get hung up is very helpful for everyone. So grab your human design chart, take a look at it. If you need any help, I will have Candace's information in the show notes below, and she can probably pinpoint exactly in your body where you're holding that fear and help you move it on through so you don't
I
create a
can.
swamp.
Yeah, move through your swamp.
Move through
Thank you
your
for
swamp.
having me, Christy. It's always a pleasure. And please reach
Absolutely.
out if anybody has questions.
Perfect. And I'm going to have Candace on again. So if you have any questions for her, stay tuned for next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.